Hey guys, it's me, 1239 here, and in today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys a review for the show The Summer I Turned Pretty, Season 1. Ooh. Okay, I have not done a review of a show in a really long time because I mostly do reactions, so this is I'm out of my element right now. I sat down, I watched the show for 2 days, and I just took bullet point notes on my phone, so that's literally what I'm gonna be basing my review on, just my initial thoughts on the show. I don't think I liked the show as much as I thought I would. I thought I would like it a lot more than I did, so if you guys don't want to hear critical opinions about the show, maybe don't watch this video. Go find someone who really liked the show, because I don't think I'm gonna be saying a lot of positive things. Or I'm gonna be addressing more of the things that I found problematic with the show. I mean, I did like some things about the show, but most of it I was just very frustrated. Like I said, I wrote down my initial thoughts, and I think I still believe what I thought when I first watched the show. And before I start talking about the show more in depth, I just want to say that there will be spoilers in this video, so if you haven't watched the show, don't watch this because I'm just going to be dropping spoilers left and right. Just don't watch this if you haven't seen the show yet. Go watch it first and then come back here if you want to hear some of my points about the show. Let's get started now. The show is based on a book by Jenny Han, who also wrote To All the Boys I've Loved Before. So the show begins with Belly, a 15 turning 16-year-old girl who vacations at this place called Cousins Beach with her family, her brother Steven and her mom Laurel. So they stay with their mom's best friend Susannah and her 2 boys, Conrad and Jeremiah. There's some, romance stuff that ensues because of it. This is also the year that Belly turns into a pretty person. I'm gonna explain why I don't like that concept, which I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't, but I'll get to that later. Basically, she has to decide on who she likes better, romantically, Jeremiah or Conrad. She's been friends with them. She kind of grew up with them, basically. I already have a problem with the premise of the show, which I think is that during the first episode, Belly is constantly told that she got a glow up because she has boobs now and because she doesn't wear glasses.
Here's a tip. Don't bring that Speedo. It doesn't do a thing for your new boobs.
People always say I look like my dad.
No, when your mom and I first met, she looked just like you.
Except I had no boobs at all.
Okay? There's people that don't get boobs or don't blossom or whatever. That doesn't mean they're not pretty. Beauty is so subjective. I think they're really trying to perpetuate this standard that we've already seen in so many other films and TV shows where women are beautiful or worthy of love when they are satisfying to look at. Maybe they do try to dismantle that. I didn't really see it. Let me know if you did. I really love how Laurel and Susannah, I love their friendship. I loved it so much, and I know that a lot of people ship them, and I did too. It's really nice to see 2 women support each other and love each other. I feel like we don't see that a lot, especially when they're adults. I feel like we see meaningful, long-lasting female friendships usually happen when you're a teenager, and then after that you're see ya, never gonna speak to you again. But I love how they have maintained this relationship that they have over the years, and they act like teenagers sometimes. I thought that was really sweet and really different. I don't think I've ever really seen that before. I mean, I would say Marilla and Rachel kind of had that relationship, and Anne with an E, except they fight a lot. I don't know, but I love their friendship as well. I think a lot of people have this opinion. This is kind of the consensus I saw on Twitter, which is that people mostly liked Cam more than they did Jeremiah and Conrad as a love interest for Belly, and I have to agree. He was the best one out of the 3 boys. Duh. Why? Why didn't she pick him? If I were in Belly's position, I would have chosen Cam from the beginning. And I think this has to do with the fact that in media, this narrative is always perpetuated that the bad boy is the right choice. I've fallen for that, of course. I've had crushes when I was younger, and there was this guy in my class that was really nice and very studious and always followed the rules, and then there was this other guy who was very mean and was the bad boy that everyone liked, that every girl liked. And I don't know, why did I like the bad boy? I don't think that's healthy. But another issue that I had with the show, I guess. Not so much with the first episode, but I guess I've talked about this in my Anne videos as well, like in the episode where Anne drinks in season 3. And it's the fact that like alcohol and drugs are so glamorized in media. They're kind of utilized as these stepping stones into adulthood. I still have a problem with that in Anne because like, why is that always the default for coming of age? Not everyone drinks. Like that is a personal choice, of course, but I personally don't relate to it, so that's just my opinion on that. And so I liked how Cam wasn't like that as well. It was very casual, like the fact that he didn't drink. I like how they didn't like put him in that like peer pressured situation. People were like cool with it, but I often feel like alcohol and drugs are overly encouraged in media. I haven't seen the after films, but if you guys haven't seen it, there's a character, the main love interest in the story, and his name is Hardin, and he's like this stereotypical bad boy character, especially in the first film, where he treats the protagonist awfully, and he's like this mysterious guy that the protagonist feels like she can change, and that's always a problem in and of itself. I feel like Conrad was kind of like this type of character. He doesn't treat Belly right. I feel like that kind of makes her more attracted to him. I don't know. I didn't think that Conrad was ready to have a relationship with Belly. I feel like the media, I'm going to talk about the media a lot, but they often romanticize these types of relationships that are toxic. I didn't enjoy watching that relationship. So this happens in the second episode. Conrad wants to go see Belly while she's on her date with Cam. He wanted to mess it up, I guess, or he wanted to like, he was like jealous. He was acting jealous, even though he has no reason to act jealous because he's not in a relationship with her. I was like, what? Like, you're gonna pretend like you don't like Belly and then you're gonna go and spy on her date or try to mess it up? That's part of the whole toxicity with these types of relationships. By the fourth episode, I think Jeremiah starts to show interest in Belly, and I didn't really see him really liking her in that way before. So that was interesting. I was like, really? Like, I mean, I knew it was gonna happen. I knew it was gonna come up, but I really thought like, maybe I got the story wrong. And I was like, no, actually he does like her. I didn't really see their interactions prior to this episode as anything more than platonic, but apparently he really liked her. It kind of seemed forced. I don't know. Maybe I gotta rewatch the show again and see these subtle hints, but I always thought that their relationship was very platonic. So eventually Belly breaks up with Cam, and like I said, she should have chosen him. He was the best option. She was a better option out of the three boys. And not to mention that Jeremiah and Conrad, they grew up together. If I were her, I would see these boys as brothers more than potential love interests, you know? It was kind of weird. I feel like nice guys always get the short end of the stick, and so I didn't appreciate her breaking up with him. I was like, no, like, he's gonna probably give you the least amount of trouble. Like, obviously, you gotta like him as well, but I feel like Cam is so easy to love. Like, he's such an easy character to love. So anyway, there's this part in the show where Belly and Nicole, I haven't talked about her yet, but Nicole is Conrad's girlfriend. I don't remember what label they put on their relationship, but she's the girl that Conrad is seeing throughout this whole show while he has like conflicting feelings about Belly and whatever. And so there's a point where Nicole and Belly and some other girls, including Belly's friend Taylor, they go to a lake and they're skinny dipping. Okay. I wouldn't do that with people I don't know. I wouldn't do that in general, but I especially wouldn't do that with people I don't know. But yeah, so they're in the lake and Nicole already suspects that Belly and Conrad have a thing. So Nicole sees a text message that Belly got from Conrad saying that he wanted to take her to the debutante ball, and it wasn't just his mom asking him to, it was actually him wanting to ask her and stuff. And so Nicole and her friends, they get really upset and they get very petty. They end up taking all of Belly and Taylor's clothes And they leave them stranded and naked in the lake at night. Oh my god, like that part infuriated me so much because a lot of things could happen in that situation. Like you can't blame the girl who your boyfriend likes. Like it was clearly him that was messaging her, confessing his feelings to her. The girl in these situations is often pinned as the homewrecker. No, like go talk to your guy. Like she had nothing to do with it. It was so clear. Anyway, didn't appreciate that, especially because so much could have happened to them in that situation. Belly ended up apologizing to Nicole, and Nicole did not apologize to her. So I was like, what?
It's not your fault Conrad's a fuckboy. You're kind of a fuck girl too.
It was messed up. It was such a messed up thing that she did, and she didn't apologize. So by the climax of the show, we find out that, well, we already knew this throughout the show, but basically Susannah, who is Conrad and Jeremiah's mother, she has cancer. It's insinuated that she doesn't have a lot of time left to live. She has the option of getting treatment, and she doesn't know if that'll work. Besides Laurel, Conrad was the only other person, I guess, that knew about her cancer. So Jeremiah, like, explodes at the debutante ball. I mean, by the first episode, by the second we saw Conrad on screen, I was like, she's gonna end up with Conrad. And she did. And I was like wondering what even happened to Jeremiah after that whole fight or punch. I don't know. I don't remember if they fought, but she punched Conrad in the face. Like, what happened after that between them? Like, Belly just kind of like was like, I'm with Conrad now. I don't know. So I know that people were saying on Twitter that Belly was being messy because she didn't know who to pick out of the two boys. I feel like her heart was always set on Conrad. Jeremiah was that stepping stone to where she could get with Conrad. Something I forgot to mention when I was talking about Cam is that films such as The Kissing Booth, To All the Boys I Loved Before, and I think even Tall Girl, they always pin the protagonist in a love triangle. There's always the one guy who was in the first movie and is kind of like the bad boy option. The second option, which is clearly the much better choice. And I think you can put Cam in that trope of him being the better option, but Belly ultimately goes with the bad boy and the boy that's probably going to break her heart at some point. Jeremiah kind of falls into that option as well. I mean, he was not as great as Cam because I feel like his relationship with Belly was much more platonic, but he was, I think, if I had to choose between Jeremiah and Conrad, I would have chosen Jeremiah. And the last thing I want to bring up, which I didn't really talk about, I didn't talk about it at all, was the fact that, you know, the protagonist, Belly, is half Asian and she's half white. Representation is important, and it's important to fill up the screen with minorities, with people of color, marginalized groups, people that don't often get their story told on screen. That is so important, and I always believed that. I feel like at the same time, it's not just important to fill up the screen with underrepresented people, but it's also about how they are being represented, not just the fact that they're there. We always have to keep that in mind of how they're being represented. I think the show in some ways did break barriers. I love the relationship between Laurel and Susannah, but I think in some instances, like with Belly and her beauty standards and like how she's defined as beautiful, which is like having boobs and wearing makeup, dressing more feminine, I guess, wearing contact lenses instead of glasses. Those are like beauty standards that we see with white characters. If we can really call that good representation, if she's just being used to perpetuate the standard of beauty that we as women, girls, as teenagers should look up to. The main thing that infuriated me was the love triangle because I didn't really enjoy it, especially Conrad's character. I understand he's going through a lot of stuff with his mom, but I feel like the way they especially initially portrayed him as like this desirable character that Belly wants, but Cam was definitely the better option. I don't know, as someone who's watching and has kind of been in that situation where I've liked both nice guys and bad boys, I was like, why doesn't she just go with the guy that is nicer to her, that actually treats her better, and that isn't creating so many conflicting feelings for her, you know? I'm nervous about, I don't know why, I'm nervous about posting this because I don't know if I was coherent enough And I haven't done review videos in a long time. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. These were my initial thoughts, and I think these are still my thoughts. There is going to be a season 2 of this show, so let me know in the comments below. If you guys are excited, I will be watching season 2. My mom, she watched like half of the show with me. Like, she started watching, I think, when I was in episode 5. She was following the story even though she wasn't always watching. She was like, she had her back turned sometimes. But then she was like, that show though. Like, I think she thought that Jeremiah was the better option. But she didn't see Cam. That's probably why she thought that. But anyway, I guess I'm excited to see where season 2 goes. I have the books. I haven't read the books, but let me know if you would like to see me review the books. I'll probably have time to do that after I finish summer school because it'll be my last semester of university before I graduate in November. Let me know if you want to see reviews on the book series. I would love to make them. I think it would be interesting to see how they differ from the show. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you guys want. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Thank you so much to Raster and Zaryabdar for becoming channel members. It really means a lot to me. Joining my channel membership will give you awesome perks, emojis, and badges, and it helps to support my channel, so please consider joining if you think it's something you'd be interested in. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in a new video. Bye! Mwah.